say? I can't believe what you're alluding to, Max. Let it out. Let it out. What are you trying to say?
This is my hot take. You just is a great fighter. A good big man doesn't beat a great little man. It takes something more than a good big man to do that. And Lopez is more than just good.
Punches are not made, they are born. And this guy, Lopez, was born to punch. He's got one other thing going for him, Steven and Max. He reminds me of Pacquiao Lopez in a way, not just with power in either hand, his closing step, his ability to explode. You know, kind of like an athlete in football, basketball, any of those sports where it's not about running a 40, it's about the quickness, it's about the closing step, the burst. He's got that burst. Not everybody's got that burst.
You're about to see one of the most explosive boxing matchups of the year. Stevenson's speed, Lopez's power, who will dominate? Don't blink, because every second could change the fight. Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman debate the upcoming fight between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, analyzing their skills, power, and career achievements.
New York City, January 31st, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. I always say it, when boxing gets it right, no other sport comes close. And this is boxing getting it right. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or yes. Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is it a Jerry versus Jerry?
Smith praises Teofimo Lopez's fast defense, highlighting his quick reflexes and ability to dodge punches in tight moments.
Sure to show the world that at 23 years of age, I'm a champion, and you're going to have to come take this from me. I'm not giving you a damn thing. I loved his quickness. We know about Lopez's power, but I'm talking about his quickness defensively. But I saw Lopez being elusive, and I love that because it's one thing for you to have the power and the quickness to go along with the power offensively. A lot of guys can look good until they get hit. There were times where he got hit, and there were other times where he was.
He points out that Lopez has a history of performing on the biggest stages. Smith says Lopez isn't scared of top competition, noting his strong win over Vasily Lomachenko.
I know that Lomachenko's footwork is exceptional. It's practically unrivaled. So you could see what he's done to numerous fighters, which contributed to them quitting, like Nicholas Walters and others. He tried that with Lopez. It didn't work. Lopez's footwork worked. His speed was there. Some power, obviously, but his elusivity is what impressed me most. The fact that he was able to slip a number, not all, but a number of those
Lomachenko.
pitches.
He wouldn't let Lomachenko establish his outside foot.
And I loved it.
Yeah, for me, coming into this fight, obviously I always talk to Max about fighting. I love it. I was thinking, and Lopez mentioned it pre-fight, everybody thought it was going to be very Mayweather-Canelo when they fought, and that he would be outclassed. If you look at the first 6 rounds, it was about patience. He was patient. He didn't rush himself. He used his jab, which is something that we aren't used to seeing.
Teddy Atlas joins the discussion, saying Lopez's toughest challenge is facing the best pound-for-pound fighter. Atlas stresses Stevenson's technical skills, saying Lopez's athleticism alone won't be enough against such a precise fighter.
Challenge lies ahead for Lopez this upcoming weekend.
What challenge? The challenge of fighting for me, my estimation, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Either him or Crawford. You choose it, it doesn't matter. You could flip-flop either one of them. They're the 2 top guys. The challenge is to get his bomb to the target. Yeah, like Customano, my mentor, used to say, Teddy, having power is great, but if you don't have a means to get it to the target, it has no value. It's like a military weapon, he used to say. If you don't have a missile, it just blows up and makes a big hole in the ground. So that's the challenge. Get it to the target. Get it to the chin or the body, which might be a good idea with a guy who moves his head so much, but get it to the target with Lomachenko. So keep yourself together mentally with all that going on, with all the chaos stuff coming at you, and don't get discouraged, don't get frustrated if he's hard.
Kellerman adds that Stevenson doesn't just win fights, he controls them. His footwork, distance management, and anticipation let him set the pace in every match.
Shakur's one of those guys and who comes along, and I think this is really the question about him. I said he is one of those. Is he one of those guys? Like Purnell, like Roy, like Floyd, their defenses were so good, and they boxed in a way where they weren't going to take unnecessary risks. They weren't running and holding. You know, I had a problem with the second half of the Haney-Norman fight because I felt like they continue to box. Purnell did, Roy did, and Shakur does now, right? But when a guy has those advantages in boxing skill and speed, and they don't take risks, they are almost impossible to beat. So no matter who Purnell was fighting, no matter who Roy was fighting, if someone would have asked me who they're going to be, they're fighting Godzilla, Purnell. They're fighting Roy. Shakur has that look to me, and the style.
He agrees both fighters are skilled but notes Stevenson isn't a big puncher. Instead, he wins using precision, defense, and smart control, not knockout power.
The difference here is that they're both twitchy, they're both fast, they're both excellent boxers. Teo's a puncher. I know it hasn't shown up in recent fights, but we have watched both of their careers. Shakur is not a puncher.
No.
Teo is.
Teo can be an explosive, I hit you with a shot you don't see, and you are out cold type puncher.
And talking about power, strength too. I think Teo's going to be the much stronger guy in there. Shakur Stevenson's not a strong guy.
I think he's getting stronger.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
Definitely
But this is his first fight at 140 though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting
I
his
feel
strength.
like, but I also feel like that Shakur might surprise you, Mike, with his physical strength. Physical strength, as we all know, doesn't always translate to punching power.
Sure, of course not.
But when he was a younger fighter, he looked like he could be moved around by his opponent. It doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, no, he's definitely matured in his body. But first fight at 140, Teo's what? I think this is maybe his fifth fight at 140?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's true, but Shakur has a frame where he can put on 140 very.
Kellerman also says Stevenson has more to lose because of his undefeated record and technical reputation. Lopez, as the underdog, has less pressure and more to gain, making the fight unpredictable and exciting.
Is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to
Stevenson has openly said this fight is huge for him. He sees it as a chance to prove he's among the top pound-for-pound fighters in the sport.
People think the fight with Teo is either going to be you delivering a masterclass.
Or a knockout by Teo.
Yeah, or you getting into some type of brawl with Teo and end up getting knocked out, right? What are fans getting wrong about the matchup?
I think the fans is getting wrong about the matchup is where I'm not sleeping on that I know about Teo. Teo's a good boxer. He's boxer first. So we could say, oh, he's just going to knock you out. Or he's just going to... That's not him. He's boxing first. He's going to want to establish distance and range on the outside and try to beat me up on the outside. So I think that's the main thing. And also the biggest thing that everybody don't realize with me, I can punch. Everybody say, oh, he can't punch, and then boom, crack somebody, and then they laying down, or something may happen to where they hurt or something like that. So I think that's too.
Experts describe the Stevenson versus Lopez fight as a tactical puzzle, where strategy, timing, and energy will decide who wins.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, you know, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, you know, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does,
Lopez is known for starting fights fast, using mid-range explosiveness, sharp counters, and bursts of pressure. Analysts wonder if he can keep that pace for all 12 rounds, which could give Stevenson a chance to take control in the later rounds.
If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think T.O. is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in danger.
Legendary boxer Roy Jones Jr. says matchups like Stevenson versus Lopez are exactly what boxing needs. He calls it a true skill versus skill battle, comparing it to Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Fights like this bring credibility by putting the best fighters against each other at their peak.
With you, Pierre, Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson getting it on in about 3.5 weeks or something like that. Also on the undercard is Keyshawn Davis, but the main event. Let's jump into the main. Tell me what you're thinking.
You got an ultimate skill fighter versus a boxer who's twitchy, and twitchy sometimes beats out skills. Sometimes that's the side that can really beat a straight up boxer to me. Somebody who's twitchy. You know, because they don't fight, you know, as normally as most boxers fight. They give you angles, body movement, bouncing around like a Lomachenko would done, even a Crawford does, you know what I'm saying, moves different angles and so forth. That's why they can beat a lot of boxers.
Analysts agree that both fighters bring experience, star power, and something to prove. Stevenson's technical precision and defense contrast with Lopez's speed and power, making it a must-watch clash. These high-stakes matchups excite both hardcore and casual fans, creating drama and unforgettable moments in boxing.
Who's going to show up what day? What's Shakur showing up? What T.O.'s going to show up? You get what I'm saying?
Nah, you know, we going to always Shakur going to always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him. And eventually he knew that he was going to be in a position where he could have his way with the kid who was in the ring. I'm losing his name off the top of my head.
Right, I know you're talking about. But I believe he fought that way because he started hearing all the call of him running. He started saying, you know what, let me stay in the pocket, because he stood in the pocket a lot more than he normally stood in the pocket with that fight. You know what I'm saying?
It took some unnecessary shots.
Huh?
It took unnecessary shots.
Well, okay, right. But you see what kind of fan base he got after that too. The doubters started saying, you know what, I'm gonna roll with him more, because we were getting tired of him running and skillfully beating people. That gets boring, like Mayweather did his last 10 fights.
Some call Stevenson's style boring, but that misses the skill behind it. He uses footwork, counters, and defense instead of constant attacks. While some fans want knockouts and non-stop action, Stevenson's careful approach makes him extremely hard to hit and highly effective. His fights show that timing and control can be just as thrilling as raw power.
Y'all scared of Shakur.
Nobody's scared of Shakur, bro.
I think y'all be ducking
Shakur's scared of his shadow, bro. Relax,
I think y'all be ducking Shakur.
Shakur, you see his last fight?
One the fans want to see, though.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Stop hyping up Shakur.
I want to see Ryan and Shakur.
I've
Devin
not heard that at all.
Yeah.
I've never
You
heard
wouldn't want to see that?
I never heard that. Nobody on the street has ever been like, yo, Shakur, you would be crazy.
Who should Shakur Stevenson fight next?
I don't think he should fight at all ever again, because he just puts the fans to sleep and he's not doing anything entertaining for the damn sport. Honestly, just kick him out of boxing, bro. He's horrible.
God damn.
I'm asking you this. You think Dana would put up with Shakur? He'd be the first one to kicked out of the UFC, right or wrong?
I would say this, right? Dana definitely wants, because it's an entertainment company.
Okay, boxing's an entertainment company too. He ain't doing the sport a favor, so kick him out.
How would that fight between him and David Haney go?
Honestly, man, if you want to get off to that, man, you better off watching like Gabe.
Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, you him, bro. I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro. T.O. not on this level. T.O. is a high-level fighter, but he's not on my level. I'm an elite level fighter, and come January 31st, I'm gonna show it.
You've shown respect to him for his performances in the past, what he's done. He's fought guys like Lomachenko and Taylor. You say that he's not on your level? Why do you think you're on just a different level than him?
Because I seen him at his best. Against Taylor, against Lomachenko, he was at his very best. That was the best he can do. I don't think he can do nothing better than that. So
self-projection.
What I seen from that fight, I feel like I'm way better than them guys. With Lomachenko, like I said, he didn't throw punches for 6
Objection.
rounds. For 6 rounds. So